With NEX version 1.6, we made a few minor changes to the user interface to make NEX a little bit more approachable for new users. But if you're an existing NEX user, you may be a little bit confused as to where some of your UI elements went. And so in this video, I want to go over some of those feature changes so you can get up to speed as quickly as possible. So the first thing I want to show you is that within QuadDraw, actually let me create a quick object here and deselect that. And if I go into QuadDraw and I wanted to draw my mesh on top of the sphere, there's no longer an option here to do that. And so the reason we did that is we actually moved the option up above the actual mesh editing tools here under transfer constraints. So normally it's set to grid, and so I can just draw my points on the grid. But if I wanted to draw it on top of the sphere, I just go over here into other surface and pick the sphere. If there were more than one object here, this list would be populated with all the objects in your scene. The reason we did that was because the transfer constraints it's kind of a universal feature that can be used for other things outside of QuadDraw. Specifically, you can use it for the transform tools and also even with extrude. So we wanted to kind of unify that interface and make that usable within other tools so that it's not kind of hidden under, or it's not duplicated within other tools. It's kind of all one user interface. The next thing I want to talk about is the ability to extrude and or bevel components. So there used to be an option within NEX. If I bring up the options dialog, you can see that there was an option previously for allowing you to extrude using Control plus Shift and the middle mouse button drag. We removed that just for consistency's sake, and we made it an option also under the hotkey editor, which has always been there. And I'm going to move this, so let's go over here. And so there's an option here, and I actually have it assigned to my Z key, and so it's called the extrude bevel press. And so it works very similar to how it used to work. So if you're in multi-component mode and you used to have an option for Control plus Shift and middle click drag, now you can just hold Z and it'll put you into the extrude and or bevel tool. So depending on what component you're under or what component your cursor is on top of, it'll actually change to whatever tool that is. So here I'm on a vertex, and you can see it's going to extrude that vertex. If I'm on a face, it'll extrude that face, and if I'm on an edge, it'll extrude that edge. So you can quickly and easily switch to either one of those tools. And then as you release the Z key, it's going to put you in whatever tool you were previously in. So here I'm in the Move tool. I hold down Z. You can see now I'm in the Extrude tool or the Bevel tool, depending again on what's highlighted. And you can just left click drag to actually perform it. And when you let go of the key again, it puts you back into the Move tool. The last thing that we changed was if you're in NEX and you enter the multi-cut tool and you want to end a cut, you can do that by pressing the Enter key as you normally would have been able to do. But you were previously able to end a cut by using the right click button or the right mouse button simply by right clicking. That was removed mostly because of the fact that that was sort of a feature that was a little bit more complicated to implement across all three platforms, and we wanted to make the user interface consistent with the Windows, Mac OS, and Linux platform. So we removed the right click feature just because it wasn't a very reliable way of doing it. Unfortunately in Maya, it's not the right mouse button isn't something that you can usually use very consistently, so we had to rewrite that code. So now if you want to end the cut, you can just enter any other tool or press Enter, but my preferred method is to actually press the G key. So G will sort of repeat the command. It's not typical of Maya to use a G key to repeat, but repeat a tool, but in this case it works quite well because G is quite accessible. So you can just create a cut and then press a G, and then you're still in the multi-cut tool and you can continue to make cuts. Alternatively, again, you can press Enter or switch to any other tool by pressing any of the hotkeys like W, E, R, or W, or you can also, what were the other ways? Okay, so you can actually also you can right click in the empty space here and just go into the up direction or the north direction to complete the tool as well. So there's many ways of doing it. But the right click is no longer one of them, although you can right click drag up in empty space to complete. All of these are documented in the next help button here. So if you click the help button here, you can see all the different methods of repeating right there, and that goes for the slice and everything else within the multi-cut. I hope that covers it. Again, I just want to mention that there are some significant UI improvements. The NEX shelf has been improved here. There's some other ones, like with the selection constraints and some other features that were a little bit more troublesome with NEX version 1.5 and earlier. So we've made some improvements, but to make things a little bit more consistent, we've changed things up too. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Thanks. Bye.